Did you hear the good news? They're actually in the process of making a new D&D Artificer.
Really? Are they finally giving us access to more plans and infusions to craft?
Well, no. Less, actually.
Well, what then? New spells and subclasses?
Well, about that as well.
But I can keep using my Artificer Infusion as my spellcasting focus, right?
Perhaps it's best you don't ask any more questions.
So what's so good about this new proposed version of me then?
Well, before we get too far ahead of ourselves, all of this is in early playtesting still, so a lot of it is subject to change.
Well, I want to hear all of it, so get cracking.
Well, strap in then. Now at level 1, you get access to a class feature called Magical Tinkering, which allows you to create a magical item from a preset list a couple of times a day, but they only last for up to an hour.
Okay, that sounds decent. What are my options from this list?
The only one worth considering is ball bearings.
Wait, you're not even going to give me the other options?
Not unless you're overly interested in creating multiple jugs, bedrolls, or crowbars a day.
How would a bedroll that only lasts for 1 hour be useful?
Your guess is as good as mine, but hey, Flash of Genius got improved.
Go on then.
Well, now you can use it as a response to one of your party members failing a check rather than having to do it before.
Well, that's definitely an improvement.
Now, let's quickly touch on spells.
Oh no, what have they done?
It's actually not all that bad. Homunculus Servant is now a 2nd level spell instead of an Artificer Infusion.
Okay, that's good, right?
Yeah, I think so. Infusions as a whole don't even really exist anymore. They're now referred to as Replicate Magic Item and allows you to create magical items on a preset list based on a list of plans that you have access to.
Okay.
So at level 2 you get access to this magical list and you'll be able to create up to 2 of them at any given time.
And what happens if I try to make a third one?
The first one will just disappear.
Surely we've gone down the wizard route of things, and any items that we reconstruct get added to our crafting list?
That is an incredible idea, but it's not how it works at all.
Well, that's a missed opportunity.
And there has been some tweaks to this list of magical items that you can craft or replicate, meaning that you can't replicate 2 of the same magic items at any given time.
Oh man, can't make bag of holding bombs anymore?
That entirely depends on what the hell you're talking about.
Well, in my current 2014 version of myself, I can create 2 of the same magical items, so I could create 2 bags of holding, put one into the other, and suddenly I got a bomb that creates a tear to the astral plane.
Moving on. At level 10, using these blueprint options, you can create any uncommon ring or wondrous item.
Right, but with the new crafting rules in D&D, can't I just use 200 gold to create any uncommon magic item well before level 10?
Oh yeah. Well, at level 14, you can use these blueprint options to create any rare blueprint that you have access to, and that's pretty neat.
You don't sound very confident.
I don't think I am. But there is a new class feature called Drain Magic Item.
That sounds like exactly what I was asking for before with craftable magic items.
Well, just let me explain. Rather than draining the magic from any magical item you get access to, you can only drain it from the ones that you've crafted.
Oh. And what do you get back for doing so?
The 1st or 2nd level spell slot.
You better start sharing some good changes immediately.
You're right, let's just get to the good stuff. At level 11, you'll get access to a spell storing item.
Now we're talking.
Essentially, whenever you finish a long rest, you can touch a martial weapon or any item that can be used as your spellcasting focus and store a 1st, 2nd, or 3rd level spell slot in it.
So I could store Revivify in my hammer?
Yes, but why in the world would you want to?
Isn't it obvious? To bring my enemies back to life so I can re-kill them all over again.
Of course. It's also important to note that the person using this spell doesn't need to be you, they just need to follow the spell requirements. So you could do this to your fighter, and then if the spell requires concentration, they simply have to maintain that concentration.
Okay, now that's cool.
And they also get to use your spellcasting modifier and can do it up to 10 times per day.
Hold on just a second.
Okay.
You're saying I can have 10 extra 3rd level spell slots every day?
Oh, that is terrifying. Especially considering you can get access to Fireball.
Fireball, you say?
Forget I mentioned anything, but just to wrap things up before we dive into subclasses, you no longer get +1 to all of your saving throws dependent on how many magic items you've attuned to. Instead, you just get to roll a d6.
Oh man, another nerf?
Yes, but now at level 20, if you ever reduce to 0 hit points, you can sacrifice one of these attuned magic items and you'll get 20 hit points back.
That seems way worse.
So are we going to get back to the game anytime soon, or...? Oh, yeah, I completely forgot we were playing. Alright, Wizard, it's your turn.
Cool, and which one am I again?
Oh, you're just the elf token.
Okay, but I'm seeing a fair few elves on screen.
And while we're on the subject, I'm meant to be a kobold, but it looks like you've got me as a dragonborn?
And now that you mention it, I thought we were fighting against gnolls.
Look, I'm doing my best, alright? It's not easy to find tokens to fit every possible player and creature.
Actually, it is easy.
thanks to Chepeku tokens because they're an all-in-one hub for all of your D&D token needs. How did you get into this call? Choose from monsters, player characters, and NPC tokens, or use their brand new token builder to fully customize your own unique creations. Can we personalize the tokens? You sure can. Don't encourage him. Through custom token borders, color variants, and randomizers, all player and monster tokens have the capability of looking completely unique from one another, so you'll never get confused during combat counters again. Well, it kinda seems like a no-brainer, DM, so random stranger, where can we get our hands on this? Fantastic question. Via subscription on Chepeku's official website. I've left a link in the description for you. Screw it, they can play with him. Now, let's get to the real juicy stuff. Subclasses.
Finally! Did they fix Alchemist?
Maybe it's best we save that one for last, but Armorer is cooler than ever.
Keep talking.
Well, just to rapid fire through a few, you still get access to your coolest of spells, your armor proficiencies are still there, you can create and craft armor even quicker, but arcane armor is where this subclass really shines.
I'm loving absolutely everything I'm hearing.
It's primarily because there's a new armor variant called Dreadnought, and it's awesome. You can essentially transform in a sense, making your armor and your size bigger from medium to large, and it also increases your reach by 5 feet.
That is so cool!
Oh, I'm not even close to done. You also have an iron flail as your weapon, which on its own does 1d10 bludgeoning damage and also has reach, but if you've also done this size changing ability, you can attack monsters within 15 feet of you. You can also optionally pull them 10 feet closer to you or push them 10 feet away.
It gets better and better!
Also at even higher levels, you can fly, become a huge instead of large, and deal even more damage.
Finally, I'll get to play as Hulkbuster Iron Man.
Yeah, and then the rest of the subclass is pretty much exactly the same, except now at level 9 you get something called armor replications instead of armor modifications, which is just there to reflect the changes to Infusion as a whole. It's not really an upgrade or a downgrade, it's just different.
Okay, those changes were all exciting. What about Artillerist?
Honestly, there's not all that much to report on.
I still get access to my cannon though, right?
Of course, and it is actually more flexible now because you can change the cannon type with an action rather than having to completely recraft it from scratch.
Well, that's nifty.
Also, you can speedrun crafting wands now, which is a nice little bonus.
I can finally open up that wand shop that I've been thinking about.
You confuse me. Also, as a nice little bonus, your cannons do a lot more damage at higher levels, but your guardian cannon doesn't heal more damage, which is
stupid?
I'm sure it'll get fixed.
I hope so. What about Battlesmith?
It's genuinely not worth talking about, so we won't. They haven't changed anything.
Fine then, well, break it to me. What's happened to my beloved Alchemist?
I hate to break it to you, but it's really not the Walter White fantasy you were dreaming of. You do get access to something at 3rd level called Experimental Elixir, which allows you to create 2 magical elixirs between long rests.
But
the effects are completely random unless you roll a 6 on the Experimental Elixir table.
Why?
I don't know, but at least now with the new rules, you can drink the elixir as a bonus action.
Well, whoop-de-fucking-do!
Oh, but you can burn one of your spell slots to create the elixir of your choosing.
That's how it should be in the first place. But the elixir options are at least good though, right? You're joking.
To name a few, 10-foot flying speed, 10-foot extra movement, 2d8 healing, and none of them scale at higher levels.
Well then I'm assuming like the current Alchemist, at high levels it just gets better?
Well, no. In fact, at level 15 you don't even get access to the harm spell anymore. Instead, once per day you can freely cast Tasha's Bubbling Cauldron.
Why would they do that?
I guess because it's kind of on flavor. Oh, but also on any artificer spells that deal acid, necrotic, or poison damage, you can deal 2d8 bonus force damage.
Well, that's something at least.
Yeah, that's actually it.
That's it? What do you mean that's it?
Like I said, this is all subject to change, so hopefully a lot of it changes.
How hard is it to make the subclass that actually makes drugs cool?